There is a silence that belongs to the night. It is not merely the absence of sound, but the deep pause where the body seeks healing and the soul seeks peace. Yet for many, perhaps for you, this silence is interrupted. You wake not once, but many times, drawn out of sleep by the urgent need to visit the bathroom. You are not alone in this experience. Millions around the world, especially those walking the path of diabetes or living with weakened kidneys, face this same nightly disruption. It has a name, Nocturia, but to those who endure it, it is more than a word. It is fatigue. It is frustration. It is the slow erosion of rest. But just as the body carries within it the weight of discomfort, it also holds the potential for balance and renewal. The question is not only, how can I stop waking up so often? The deeper question is, what is my body trying to say, and how can I respond with care, not force? Nature offers answers, not as miracles, but as partners. Among them, there are 3 humble vegetables that do more than fill the stomach. They nourish the kidneys, soothe the body's inner tides, and help restore the sacred rhythm of uninterrupted sleep. Let us begin with one of the quietest yet most powerful among them, the cucumber. To many, the cucumber is merely a cooling addition to summer meals, crisp, refreshing, light. But when seen through the lens of healing, it becomes much more. Especially for those of us managing diabetes or living with stressed kidneys, this simple vegetable can be an ally. Why? Because cucumbers are composed mostly of water, but not just any water. This is living hydration, structured in a way that harmonizes with the body. For those whose blood sugar tends to rise and fall unpredictably, cucumbers offer a kind of stability. They are low in carbohydrates, meaning they will not send blood glucose surging upward. Instead, they gently hydrate, easing the kidney's load and supporting the body's natural efforts to regulate itself. Hydration is not simply about drinking more. True hydration is about how water moves through us, how it supports detoxification, how it nourishes cells, how it balances the fluids that ebb and flow within. For people with diabetes, staying hydrated is not optional. It is essential, especially as high blood sugar places extra stress on the kidneys. Cucumbers offer this gift quietly, cleansing, cooling, and calming. But cucumbers also bring with them something else, something subtle yet profound. They carry within their green flesh antioxidants like flavonoids and tannins. These natural compounds seek out what we might call noise within the body, the chaotic byproducts of stress and inflammation, and gently neutralize them. For a diabetic body often caught in cycles of oxidative stress, this is like a gentle hush, a silencing of inner turbulence. When inflammation is soothed, healing can begin, the body's systems communicate more clearly, energy is preserved, and the kidneys, the guardians of our inner waters, can do their work more efficiently. In my own journey and in conversations with many who walk a path of illness and healing, I've found that the most powerful remedies are often the simplest. Cucumbers are not loud. They do not proclaim themselves with bright colors or bold flavors, but they carry within them the ancient intelligence of nature, an understanding of balance, of flow, of gentle correction. You may also know that cucumbers possess mild diuretic properties. That word, diuretic, might sound clinical, but in essence, it means this: cucumbers help the body release what it no longer needs. They encourage the gentle excretion of excess fluids, waste products, and even sodium, without overwhelming the kidneys in the process. This is especially meaningful at night, when the body is in its most delicate state of rest. A balance in fluid retention is vital. If sodium builds up unchecked, or if the kidneys are too strained to filter efficiently, the result is waking, again and again. But if the waters within you are calm and flowing, sleep can stretch long and deep, like a still lake under moonlight. So I invite you, not only to see cucumbers as food, but to see them as a reminder that healing does not always arrive in pills or procedures. Sometimes it grows quietly in the garden, waiting to be invited in. Slice them into your meals. Add them to your water with a few leaves of mint. Listen to how your body responds. In our next reflection, we will explore another quiet teacher from the earth, zucchini, and how its softness can bring strength to your nights. But for now, let the cucumber be your first companion on the journey back to restful sleep. You are not alone. You are not broken. Your body is speaking. Let's listen. In the stillness of the night, the body often speaks in discomfort. A quiet ache in the legs, a swelling in the hands, a restless shift in bed, and most persistently, the repeated need to rise and walk to the bathroom. These are not isolated occurrences. They are signs, and when we learn to listen, we begin to see the body is asking for balance. One of the great teachers of balance is found not in a temple, but in the garden, the humble cucumber. This green fruit, long and simple in appearance, holds within it the wisdom of letting go. You see, the body retains. It holds on to stress, to tension, to water. Particularly when blood sugar is unbalanced, as in diabetes, the body tends to store excess fluid. The kidneys, already working hard to filter, are burdened. The legs swell, the hands puff, and rest becomes a struggle. But cucumbers come with an offering, the ability to release. And in doing so, they help address the deeper rhythm of nocturia, the frequent need to urinate during the night. By creating better harmony in the body's fluid distribution, the body finds less reason to stir from slumber. It sleeps more deeply, and in that sleep, it heals. But it is not only the function of the cucumber that is meaningful. It is the way we bring it into our lives. There is, for instance, the ritual of the cucumber salad. When I prepare this, I do not rush. I treat each step as meditation. Washing the cucumber becomes a way of rinsing away the haste of the day. Slicing it into thin rounds is a quiet discipline. The knife moves slowly, the breath is calm. A touch of lemon juice brightens the senses, while olive oil brings warmth and depth. A pinch of salt reminds us that even taste must be in balance, and a twist of black pepper awakens the soul. The cucumber, in this way, is not merely food, it is a reminder to nourish with intention. This salad, cooling, light, and vibrant, does more than please the tongue. It nourishes the body's need for hydration without overwhelming the kidneys. Each bite carries water, minerals, and antioxidants that calm inflammation and ease inner tension. Eaten at lunch or dinner, it becomes a quiet guardian of your nighttime rest. But the cucumber does not need to be part of a meal to work its magic. Sometimes I place a few slices in a glass of water, just that. The coolness infuses slowly, delicately, changing the very nature of the drink. It is no longer just water. It is water with awareness. And on warm days or in moments of mental cloudiness, I might add a few fresh mint leaves. Mint, too, knows how to cool and soothe, to settle the body's fire without putting it out. Together, cucumber and mint create a drink that is refreshing not just for the tongue, but for the kidneys and the nervous system alike. This simple practice, sipping cucumber-infused water throughout the day, can be transformative. It supports the body's quiet efforts to maintain hydration without flooding it. It calms the urge to reach for sugary drinks, which only disrupt the delicate harmony of blood sugar and fluid balance. And it teaches the discipline of consistency, not through force, but through gentleness. In our modern lives, we often look for dramatic solutions. But sometimes what we need is not intensity, but subtlety. A cucumber, a glass of water, a few leaves of mint, taken not as a remedy, but as a ritual, an act of care. When we return to these small choices, we begin to reclaim our nights, not as battlegrounds of discomfort, but as sanctuaries of peace. So tonight, before sleep comes, ask your body, what can I let go of? And let the cucumber teach you how. There are moments in life when healing does not come from action, but from alignment, when the body is heard, not hurried, and when nourishment is chosen not for its intensity, but for its harmony with our deepest needs. After witnessing how the cucumber quietly restores the balance of water within the body, reducing nocturia, calming the kidneys, and lessening the stress placed upon them, we are ready to meet another ally on this path, the zucchini. At first glance, zucchini may seem ordinary, mild in taste, soft in color, but within its subtle nature lies an extraordinary ability to support the body, especially for those living with diabetes and those who find their nights interrupted by the persistent call of the bladder. Zucchini is a vegetable of balance. It is neither too sweet nor too starchy. It does not shock the system with sudden spikes in blood sugar. Rather, it releases its energy slowly thanks to its naturally low glycemic index. For those of us walking the delicate path of glucose control, this quality is a quiet blessing. It allows blood sugar to remain steady. And with that steadiness comes relief for the kidneys, which are often strained when sugar levels swing too high or too low. But blood sugar is only one piece of the story. Zucchini also offers the gift of hydration, not through overwhelming the body with water, but by supplying moisture in a form the body recognizes and uses efficiently. This is especially vital for those dealing with nocturia. When hydration is imbalanced, water tends to collect in the tissues, the hands swell, the feet feel heavy, the kidneys struggle. But when water is gently replenished and circulated, as zucchini helps it to be, this stagnant weight can be released. Zucchini also brings fiber, that quiet regulator of digestion and sugar absorption. Fiber slows the breakdown of carbohydrates, helping to prevent sudden rises in glucose. It nourishes the gut, eases the digestive process, and gives the body time to respond with grace instead of panic. For those with diabetes, this support is not a luxury. It is a foundation. There is also vitamin C, which strengthens the immune system and repairs the wear and tear of daily life. And perhaps more importantly, for those struggling with kidney-related issues, zucchini is a good source of potassium, a mineral essential for managing fluid balance and supporting kidney function. Potassium helps regulate sodium, which, when in excess, can cause the body to retain water and disturb the natural rhythm of elimination. It is this very disturbance, too much sodium, too little potassium, that often leads to nighttime urination. The body seeks to purge the imbalance, and so it wakes us again and again. But with zucchini, we gently tip the scale back toward equilibrium. Unlike medicines that may force the body to act or stimulants that only mask the issue, zucchini works with the body's own wisdom. It nourishes, it regulates, it helps the body remember how to restore itself. When I prepare zucchini, I do so mindfully, whether in a warm soup or a soft noodles sautéed in olive oil. I remind myself that this is not just food, it is medicine in its most natural form, a companion to the body, a teacher of rhythm. Let the cucumber begin the work, let the zucchini carry it deeper, and so, with these humble gifts from the earth, we slowly reclaim the night, not by silencing the body's signals, but by answering them with care. When the body speaks at night, not through dreams, but through the quiet discomfort of interrupted sleep, it is often telling us something deeper than get up. It may be whispering, I am out of rhythm. Our task is not to silence the voice, but to understand it, and then gently guide it back toward harmony. For many, especially those of us managing diabetes, the night becomes a restless journey from bed to bathroom again and again. But let me offer a thought. What if balance begins not with medication, but with nourishment? What if healing grows quietly in your kitchen? This is where zucchini returns to our conversation. Not just as food, but as a facilitator of equilibrium. The body, like nature, is a system of delicate exchanges. Among them, the balance of fluids and electrolytes is essential. These electrolytes, potassium, sodium, magnesium, are not merely minerals. They are the architects of hydration, helping the body decide where water flows, where it stays, and how it is released. For those of us living with fluctuating blood sugar, this is not a small benefit. High glucose levels disturb the kidneys. They can lead to dehydration one moment and water retention the next. Zucchini's ability to hydrate while keeping the kidneys from being overwhelmed makes it a kind of internal peacekeeper. But healing is not only internal, it is also practical, even joyful, and zucchini gives us many ways to practice mindful nourishment. One of my favorite ways to honor this vegetable is by preparing zucchini noodles, or what some call zoodles. This is more than a modern recipe. It is an invitation to simplicity. With a spiralizer, I shape the zucchini into long, delicate strands that resemble pasta. But unlike traditional noodles, these carry no heavy starch, no rapid blood sugar spike, only hydration, fiber, and lightness. I heat a pan slowly, add a little olive oil, and let chopped garlic warm the air. As the zucchini softens in the pan, I stir gently, aware of how little is needed to nourish the body when the ingredients are honest. A sprinkle of salt, a crack of pepper, and a handful of fresh herbs, basil or oregano, turn this humble dish into a fragrant meditation. These noodles can be a meal on their own or a companion to any gentle protein. They are light yet grounding, simple yet deeply satisfying. In every bite, they remind the body you are not under attack, you are being supported. For a deeper, more rooted experience, I sometimes roast zucchini. Cut into half moons or rounds, tossed in olive oil, seasoned with salt and pepper, then placed into the oven. As the heat draws out its natural sweetness, the zucchini becomes golden, soft, fragrant. I often finish it with a sprinkle of parmesan or a few fresh herbs. The result is a side dish, yes, but also a signal to the body. Here is nourishment, here is care. In all these ways, spiralized, sautéed, or roasted, zucchini brings balance where there was imbalance and softness where there was strain. So the next time you rise in the middle of the night, ask not only, why am I awake? But also, how can I restore the harmony my body is seeking? Often, the answer is already waiting in your kitchen, quiet, green, and full of wisdom. Each morning, as I observe the steam rising from a simple bowl of soup, I'm reminded that warmth and nourishment do not need complexity. They need presence, they need harmony. And in our path toward healing, especially when disturbed sleep and nocturnal discomfort have become familiar visitors, we must often return to the basics. In the still rhythm of a kitchen, I often add zucchini to broths and stews. This simple act, so ordinary, holds deep meaning. Zucchini, with its soft flesh and high water content, doesn't dominate the dish. It blends, it joins, and in doing so, it carries hydration through every spoonful. When placed alongside proteins or other vegetables, zucchini does not compete, it completes. This is its way, gentle yet purposeful. Through soups, zucchini becomes more than an ingredient. It becomes a carrier of balance, supporting fluid regulation, kidney health, and the subtle orchestration of nutrients that help the body rest more peacefully through the night. For those of us walking with diabetes or chronic fatigue, these small additions are not trivial, they are transformative. Zucchini teaches us that healing can be hydrating, that balance can be flavorful, and that nourishment can arrive through modest, daily rituals. Its wealth of fiber, potassium, and vitamin C allows it to regulate blood sugar, ease retention, and reduce the inner pressures that cause frequent urination during the night, a quiet victory for those seeking deep, uninterrupted sleep. But now, let us turn to another teacher from the garden, one whose green leaves have long been revered, not for their flashiness, but for their silent power. I am speaking of spinach. Spinach has been called a superfood, but I prefer to think of it as a sacred food, one that embodies strength, gentleness, and wisdom all at once. When I look at a handful of its leaves, I do not see a miracle. I see a relationship waiting to be restored between the earth and our bodies. Spinach holds within it a remarkable concentration of nutrients. It does not shout, it simply provides. Its deep green hue reflects its inner richness of vitamins, minerals, and most importantly, of magnesium. Magnesium is like a tuning fork for the body. When the frequencies are off, when blood sugar is too high, when insulin becomes sluggish, magnesium steps in to restore resonance. For diabetics, this is not an abstract benefit, it is practical. The better the body can use insulin, the more stable blood sugar becomes. And when blood sugar stabilizes, the kidneys, those quiet filters of life, are no longer overworked. The urge to urinate at night softens. The body rests. But magnesium is not alone in spinach's gift. There is also fiber, another silent ally. Fiber slows down the absorption of sugar, helping to prevent those dramatic spikes and crashes that stress the kidneys and disrupt energy. It also supports digestion, an often overlooked aspect of holistic health. When the digestive system is functioning smoothly, the whole body feels calmer, less reactive, more in tune. And what of the deeper healing, the protection of cells, the quieting of inflammation? Here too, spinach offers its hand. Rich in vitamin C and E, spinach delivers antioxidants that seek out free radicals, those tiny sparks of chaos within us, and neutralize them. The result? Less oxidative stress, less inflammation, and more space for the body to renew. You may not see this change in a mirror, but you may feel it in the softness of your joints, the clarity of your mind, or the deepening of your sleep. For those living with diabetes, where inflammation is a daily battle, these shifts matter profoundly. Each leaf reminds me that health is not always about doing more. Sometimes it is about doing less, more wisely, more consistently. As you invite spinach into your meals, think of it not only as food, but as a green flag marking your return to rhythm, a signal to your kidneys, your blood, your sleep, that peace is possible again. And perhaps tonight, when your head rests softly upon the pillow, your body will remember, balance begins with care. There are two kinds of healing. One is fast, loud, and external, the kind that treats symptoms and silences discomfort. The other is slow, quiet, and deep, the kind that restores harmony from within. For those of us walking with diabetes and with the nightly disruptions of Nocturia, it is the second kind that we must learn to honor. In my journey through understanding the body, I have come to see inflammation not simply as a condition, but as a signal. A body inflamed is a body in distress, one whose natural rhythms are interrupted. And when inflammation rises, the body's ability to use insulin effectively falters. Blood sugar begins to swing, the kidneys work harder, and the soft flow of sleep is broken by the repeated urge to rise and urinate. But nature always leaves a path home, and sometimes that path begins with something as unassuming as a handful of spinach. Spinach, rich in magnesium, brings a calming energy to the body's internal systems. Magnesium is not just a mineral, it is a silent stabilizer. It supports kidney function, helping to maintain the proper balance of fluids and electrolytes. For those of us whose kidneys are already under stress, whether from high blood sugar, age, or chronic illness, this mineral offers crucial support. When I include spinach in my meals, I'm not just adding green to my plate. I'm inviting balance, and with it, a softening of the bladder's sensitivity, one of the key reasons behind nighttime urination. But spinach's gift does not end there. The leaves of this plant hold an often overlooked key to Nocturia: hydration. For people with diabetes, dehydration is a quiet enemy. High blood sugar levels prevent the body from retaining water efficiently. As a result, the body compensates by producing more urine. More urine means more trips to the bathroom, especially at night. Spinach, with its naturally high water content, gently replenishes what is lost. It nourishes without overwhelming. It hydrates without flooding. And in this way, it helps prevent the body from slipping into cycles of thirst and overproduction. In addition, spinach contains subtle phytonutrients, compounds that encourage the body to maintain fluid balance through gentle, natural diuretic actions. Unlike pharmaceutical diuretics that may strain the kidneys or disrupt electrolyte levels, spinach works in tune with the body. It does not force, it invites, and that is why its effect on Nocturia is not immediate but enduring. Another powerful contribution comes from fiber. Often dismissed as simple roughage, fiber is, in truth, a great harmonizer. In spinach, fiber slows the absorption of glucose, preventing sharp rises and falls in blood sugar, one of the most significant triggers of increased urination in diabetics. When the blood sugar is stable, the kidneys do not panic. They filter with ease, and the bladder feels no urgency. By integrating spinach into our meals regularly, we begin to create a body that does not overreact, a system that does not overcorrect. We move closer to equilibrium, where the night becomes a time of true rest, not repetition. Spinach also brings with it another gift, potassium. This mineral, often depleted by high sodium diets, plays a vital role in helping the body release retained water. Sodium causes the body to hold on. Potassium helps it let go. In this relationship, balance is born, and through balance, nocturia can ease. I have found that people who welcome spinach into their daily diet, whether in soups, sauté dishes, often begin to notice not only improved bladder control, but a greater sense of steadiness in the body. It is as if something within them has remembered how to flow again. So if your nights have become restless, if your sleep is often broken, I invite you to sit with a bowl of warm spinach soup or enjoy a handful of tender leaves beside your meal. Eat slowly, with awareness. In doing so, you are not only nourishing your body, you are building peace from the inside out. Sometimes healing does not require grand changes. It begins with a single leaf, quiet, green, and full of life. But for many of us, especially those whose bodies have known years of wear, the deeper medicine of this plant is only revealed when it is softened by heat. When gently steamed or lightly sautéed, the leaves unfurl not only in texture but in generosity. The heat lessens compounds that may trouble the kidneys or interfere with mineral absorption, and in return releases iron and calcium more freely into the bloodstream. This transformation is not unlike our own. Under gentle pressure, we too become more open, more ready to nourish and be nourished. Sometimes I place the washed leaves in a steamer for just a minute or two. No salt, no rush, until they glisten, vibrant but tender. Other times I warm a pan with a touch of olive oil, a sliver of garlic, and allow the spinach to wilt slowly, almost like it is sighing into comfort. The smell that rises is earthy, grounding. It fills the room with a quiet sense of care. I do not overcook it. The goal is not to reduce it to silence, but to let it speak more clearly. Eaten warm, spinach digests with ease. It calms the stomach. It does not challenge the kidneys. And in its warmth, it reminds the body, you are supported, you can let go. If your nights have been restless, if your body feels swollen or agitated, prepare spinach with patience. Let the act itself be a kind of meditation. Simplicity, stillness, softness. Healing, after all, is not found only in what we eat, but in how we offer it to ourselves. As I reflect on the journey through these three vegetables, cucumber, zucchini, and spinach, I see not just remedies, but reminders. Each one calls us back to nature. Each one teaches us balance, patience, and presence. Let your meals be simple, let your choices be intentional, and allow the night to once again become a place of rest, not interruption. You do not need to fight for your sleep. You need only nourish it.